Hey guys. Good afternoon. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. If you can hear me, if you can see me, go ahead and say hey in the comments. If you can hear me, if you can see me, go ahead and say hey in the comments. I want to make sure that the signal is up. I also want to make sure that you guys can hear me and see me clearly. All right, again, go ahead and say hey in the comments. If you're on Facebook, just hit the share button and share this out to your wall. All right, because I'm guaranteed that there's somebody who you know who needs this information. Hey, hey to my Instagram family. You guys hit the airplane button down below by the comment box and just share this out. Send this to some of your friends' DMs who you know they might have a book. They may have written a book, aren't doing anything with it. They may have published a book and they're letting it go cold. Go ahead and shoot this out to them. All right. And again, once you come in, say, hey, let me know that you can hear me. Let me know that you can see me, guys. It's the evening time and afternoon time, and um, after this, I'm going to be with my kids. So we're just gonna jump right into it. We're gonna jump right into it. Tyron Hall, you said, hey, you can see and hear. You have 2 book titles that dropped in the last several months. What's the first step? First and foremost, congratulations. If you have not written yet, and you have these ideas, and even if you have written yet, even if you have written but you're trying to grow it, you need to make sure that you come to my live workshop, because I've been getting these questions a lot. Hey, I've done this, I've done that, what are my next steps? I can't coach you in one live stream because next steps are broad depending on your goals. So what you need to do is go ahead and invest the $47 to have your face in the space on Friday for my published and paid live training. Okay, so I'm glad that you guys can hear me. Glad that you guys can hear me. We're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. So today's topic is for my published authors. Sis, why is your book collecting dust? And if you can relate, if you feel me on that, put an emoji in the comments. Today's live stream is for my published authors. Sis, why is your book collecting dust? And Bree, thank you so much for the review. Please go to my page, to my Facebook page, and leave a review. Because everybody was like, oh, the training was so dope. The training was so much more, worth so much more than what it cost. And I didn't ask you guys to leave a review. So if you could go, if you attended the training in January and you enjoyed it, please go to my Facebook page and leave a review. All right. So today's topic is for my published authors. And if you're a brother and you've already published a book, this is for you too. Okay. But sis, why is your book collecting dust? If you know, if you've written a book that's collecting dust, if you have a friend or you know somebody who wrote a book and they're not doing anything with it, you need to tag them. You need to share this with them. Okay. So today I'm going to be sharing 8 keys or 8 things that you should do to keep or regain your momentum after publishing your book. And even if you are, yes, my professional one, Bree, and even if you are an aspiring author, you definitely want to tune in, because today's live is going to give you some ideas in regards to where your mind needs to be focused after you write your book. See, I see so many people writing their books without a plan. You just say, like, I have an idea, or I want to write a book, or I have a story that I want to share, but you have absolutely no plan in regards to what you plan to do with the book or how you plan to monetize it or grow it after it's written. All right. So what ends up happening is that you write a book that essentially you can't do anything with, or you don't do anything with. And after the initial excitement wears off, after your friends and family purchase the book, right? After you have your book signing and you take the nice pictures, after the excitement and the newness wears off, it's just like a relationship. You know, how everything's all good in the beginning, you have all the butterflies, but then reality sets in, and it might not be as easy as you thought it was going to be, right? We have to approach our relationships differently in order to get a different result. So now, as a published author, you are in relationship with your book. Your book is your product. Your book is your product. Your book is your product. If y'all came to the January workshop, go leave a review on my professional Facebook page. Okay, I didn't ask y'all to do that then, but I'm asking now because y'all are popping on saying, "Hey, the workshop was dope." Um, so yes, you're in a relationship, and what happens is that as authors, we're excited about the books. It's like, man, I have my book in my hand for the first time. I'm seeing this dream, this dream that I had that's come to reality. I struggled for 5 years, for 10 years to do this. And now I actually have my book with my name in my hands. And it's excitement, right? It's like, y'all, I got something that's mine that I didn't have to depend on or ask anybody for. This is mine. It's something I created from my thoughts, from my imagination, from my experience. And it's excitement in the beginning. When you start getting money in and you start making the sales, it's excitement in the beginning. When people support you and they're sharing out, it's excitement in the beginning. When people see you promoting your message, right? And people ask you to speak at their events or come onto their podcast, it's excitement in the beginning. But about 90 days after that book comes out, that's when the relationship starts growing cold. That's when the reality starts growing cold. Like there's some familiarity has set in. And you're not as excited as you once were. Now you realize it's not just going to fall into your lap. And yes, you have to put in some work. And it might be a little bit more challenging than what you initially thought, particularly if you don't have a roadmap or a game plan. This is the truth. So what happens is that a lot of published authors end up writing books. You come out with a lot of fanfare and hoopla, and then the relationship goes cold. Your book begins collecting dust. So today we're going to talk about 8 things that you should do to keep or regain the momentum after publishing your book. Okay. So number 1, if you're ready for me, drop a 1 in the comments. If you're ready for me, drop a 1 in the comments. All right. So the first thing that you should do is that you have to know, and you must have the mindset that marketing and promotion continues long after your book comes out and is launched. So you don't just promote leading up to your launch. You don't just promote so that you can obtain pre-sales. Even after your book comes out, even after you sold your first 100 copies, even after you have booked some speed engagements, even after you started generating some revenue, yes, you still need to promote your book. If you don't promote it, nobody knows. People forget. People forget that you have it if you don't promote it. And as author entrepreneurs, you are consistently building your audience. Your new followers may not know anything about your book either, or anything about what you do, who you do it for, anything. So you must have the mindset that you are going to continue to market and promote your book, even after it's launched, even after the pre-sales, even after the book launch, after all of that. 1-2 years after the book comes out, you should still be mentioning the book. Marketing and promo. When was the last time you put up a poster or a flyer promoting your book and showing people where to go get it? When was the last time you did that? When was the last time you shared some quotes from your book? When was the last time you shared testimonials from your book? When was the last time you took pictures with your book and told people, hey, I have a book. This is what it's about. This is why I wrote it. This is what inspired me to write it. This is where you can go and get it, and make sure you leave a review. Marketing and promotion does not have to be difficult. It does not have to be hard. Even if you do it once per week, you still need to consistently market and promote, actively market and promote your book. Okay? You can also market and promote your book on LinkedIn. You can market and promote your book in your email signature. Every time you send an email out, when people see that signature, that's marketing and promo too. You have to consistently let people know about your book or books and where they can check them out at. Just because you wrote a book a year or two ago doesn't mean that you have to stop speaking on those topics. It doesn't mean that you can't create a workshop on those topics. It doesn't mean that you can't do a webinar on that. You are the verified authority on that topic, because why? You did what 95% of people fail to do, which is you wrote a book about it. You ever heard the phrase, been there, done that, I could write a book about it? Most people can't write a book about what it is they do. They can talk about it, and massage your ears and make you feel good, but to actually package your experiences and your expertise into a book means that you know your content in and out. And it also means that you are able to communicate and articulate what it is you're trying to say in different formats. It's an advanced form of communication. Okay? So you must know this. Marketing and promotion continues long after your book comes out and is launched. All right? The second thing that you should know, number 2, the second thing that you should know to regain and or keep momentum after your book is published is that you need to have a growth plan. How are you going to sell more books? How are you going to continue to grow your author, speaker, coaching business? If you say, I want to make $100,000 by the end of the year from my business alone, what is your plan to make that happen? What is your quarterly plan? How much do you need to make each quarter to make it happen? Break that quarter down into months. What do your sales need to look like each month and each week? What do you need to sell? How do you need to sell it? How are you going to generate traffic? How are you going to continue to grow your audience and get in front of new people? This is a growth plan. You don't just write a book just to say you wrote a book, but yet say, I'm writing a book because I want to help people. You can't help anybody if people don't know that you exist. And you also can't help anybody if people don't know what you have to help them. You have to be vocal. And yes, this is for my self-published authors and my traditionally published authors, because I have several friends and colleagues that have gone the traditional route and they have signed with a big box publishing company, and they still have to do their own marketing, y'all. They still have to do it. They still have to promote their own books. And until you write book number 2 or book number 3, you need to be promoting the first one. You need to be putting it out there. Okay? So you need to have a growth plan. Not just saying, I want to do this is admirable. Affirming every day, I have a 6-figure author, speaker, coaching business, that's admirable. But it's hogwash if you don't actually have a plan and action steps to follow it up and make it happen. It's hogwash. It's a difference between saying affirmations and lying to yourself. When you're saying one thing, but your actions say something different. So you need to have a growth plan. How much do you plan to make in a year from your high-end author, speaker, coaching business? All right? How much do you need to make each quarter to make it happen? Each month, each week? How many books do you need to sell? Are you going to focus on individual book sales, or are you going to focus on bulk book sales? All right, so you want to focus on bulk orders. Who do you need to talk to and connect with to make it happen? And oftentimes, what else do you need to present or have in conjunction with the book? How can these people pay you? Are you aware of how people can find funding to pay you? We can't just go with our hands out, pay me, buy some books, buy some books. You have to be a visionary and say, you know what? I know that there are some grants available. I know that there are I know that you have access to these type of funds. I know based on my research that you can pay me from this bucket because this bucket pays for training, support, education. And you can buy some books. Thank you, Intriguing Desires. We can't just have our hands out expecting the world, but we don't do due diligence on our behalf. Okay? So you need to understand that marketing and promotion continues long after your book comes out and is launched. And you also need to have a growth plan. Okay? So if you haven't signed up for Published and Paid, it's a live workshop on Friday. Okay? The cart is going to be open for 2 more days and we're shutting it down. Cart closes on Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The training is on Friday from 3 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay? If you are an aspiring author, you need to have your face in the place. If you are a published author looking to grow and scale your business, you need to have your face in the place. Okay? Even if you attended back in January, but you need a refresher or now you have some questions, you need to have your face in the space. All right. And yes, you do get a 5-day access replay. You get 5 days replay to the training. Okay. Number 3, the third thing that you need to do to regain or keep momentum is that you need to have a strategic content plan. What type of content are you creating? What are you saying? How are you speaking to your audience? So it's one thing to share templates, but it's another thing to have a strategically planned content plan in which the content that you produce and the way that you speak in your captions align to the end goal. So if you know that your goal is to sell 50 books per month, which is an extra $1,000 passively, right? Then that means that your captions need to be speaking to that. Your captions need to be telling stories. They need to be transparent. Then you need to be providing testimonials. And then you need to have a call to action directing people to purchase your book or book a call or watch your webinar or whatever it is they need to do to work with you. But if your goal is purchasing books, you should be consistently telling people about your book. Brie, you're using the story method. Have you seen any results from it? Definitely let me know. Okay? So this means that for your content plan, and we dive deep into this during Published and Paid, you need to be able to strategically create content in which your messaging is focused. Your content needs to tell stories and it needs to connect to your audience so that you can convert them. It's not enough to just put up a picture of your book and expect people to buy your book because you put a picture of it up. You need to tell them why they need it, why it's for them. You need to speak to the challenges that they are experiencing and position your book as one of the solutions and a fairly inexpensive solution to their problems. All right? So I'm just going to go over them again. Number 1, you need to know that marketing and promotion continues long after your book comes out and is launched. Number 2, you need a growth plan. Number 3, you need a content plan. Number 4, the fourth thing you should do to keep and or regain momentum is that you need to keep selling your book, which takes me back to number 1. You need to consistently promote the fact that you have a book. Are you taking pictures with your book? When you sell books, when you're out, are you taking pictures of the people who support you? Still shout them out. You don't just grind it out while you're in your launch. You have to keep that same energy. Okay? And let me tell you this, authors, you don't have to discount your book. Who cares that your book has been out for a year? Nobody said that you need to mark your book at 50% off. It's still a product. It still holds the same value. It provides the same amount of value as it did when you wrote it and published it. It still costs the same amount, it might even cost even more to print it and ship it. Just because you wrote a book 6 months or 1 year previously does not mean that when you start selling it again, you need to discount it. And this is another mistake that I see a lot of independent authors make. You feel like just because, your book came out some time ago, all of a sudden, in order to get people to buy it, now you have to start dropping the prices. That is the furthest thing. That's the furthest thing from the truth. It's the furthest thing from the truth. The furthest thing from the truth. You don't have to discount your book. What you have to do is create content and create messaging that's going to convert your viewers and your audience into buyers, so that people who are watching you who don't have a copy of your book get it, and that they also refer it and even buy additional copies for others. Okay. Now, if your book is set up the right way, then your book is going to funnel them into other aspects of working with you anyway. So it's not just, oh, I'm buying the book. No, it's you're buying the book, and through buying the book, if you have different lead magnets placed in your book strategically, then you're going to be redirecting them to your website or to download some additional type of resource that can also provide them with support and help them get an additional result, which for you will turn into thousands of dollars down the line if you have your funnels set up properly. Okay? The fifth thing that you should do to regain and or keep momentum after your book comes out, authors, is to continue to film and share your journey. You cannot be scared of video. In 2021 and beyond, advertising, marketing, with social media, everything is video focused. Video converts better and quicker. Look at how reels are doing on Instagram. Look at how well videos do in comparison to just regular picture posts or lifestyle posts. Videos give your audience an opportunity to interact with you. It gives you an opportunity to showcase. It gives you an opportunity to showcase your authority on a topic, your authority and knowledge on a topic, because you're not just taking a picture, you're able to communicate. And it's opportunity for you to create content that can be repurposed. All right? And I can take this clip right now. I could take this video right now, the recording of it. I have my videographer pull out different clips, and I can use this as video reel to show people my presentation skills in a virtual setting. So it's time for us to start thinking outside of the box. Yes, you need to film and share your journey. Even after the book comes out, what's next? What are you continuing to do? How are you continuing to grow your business? After the book, people need to know how your business is growing, how you're evolving, and what the different ways in which they can work with you beyond your book. Oftentimes, the book is the lead in. It's a cheap way, and I don't like the word cheap. It's an inexpensive way for people to get a ton of value. And then when they need the help, the how-to, and the accountability, that's when they'll come to you to work with you. Oh, I read your book, and in the back that it said I could email you here. Oh, I read your book, and on page 89 it said I could download this checklist. Let me go to his site and download this checklist. You know why? Because I can really use this checklist. I can really use this template. Oh, he has this? Oh, let me go follow him on Instagram. Let me go follow them on Facebook. Let me follow them on LinkedIn. Let me watch their content some more because I really like their book. And you know what the difference about a book is? A book already has an inherent value. So it's different than any other type of lead magnet. So if you see an ad on social media that's saying, hey, take this quiz, download this checklist or this other free offer, yes, you can download it. But what often happens? You'll forget about it. It goes into your spam. You'll look at it once. You might print it off, but eventually it's going to either find its way in a dusty email or in the trash. You literally likely will not look at it 48 hours after you download it. That's just the way it goes. You're going to find something else online that's going to get your attention, and you're going to want to download that. But when you have a book and someone purchases it, they're not just going to give it away, and they're not going to throw it in the trash. They're going to read it. It might stay on their desk or in their purse for the whole week until they get to actually reading it. A book is the best lead magnet that you can ever have. And I also like to say it serves as an in-depth business card because it allows you, again, to articulate and show your knowledge about a subject. It's an instant credibility booster. Why? Because you've taken the time to package your knowledge, experiences, and expertise into a book. And that's something that 95% of people cannot do. Even if you already have a successful coaching business, you are literally leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table by not having a book. It is the truth. You can convert people so much quicker with a book than you can with just some type of regular lead magnet. Because now they have an opportunity to see how you speak. They have an opportunity to see how you teach. They have an opportunity to see what you know. Once they get some results with the content in your book, then only naturally they're going to come and want to work with you even more. And if you already have a book, authors, and you've probably already experienced this, where people say, hey, I purchased your book, or I found your book on Amazon. I really loved it. Oh my gosh, it helped me so much. They're letting you know right then and there how your book helped them, but it's your responsibility to show them how they can continue to work with you to get even better results beyond the book. All right? So with doing that, you have to continue to film and share your journey and be present. Yes, you have to have a presence. And you may not be a social media person. You may not want to or have the capacity to be on every single day, but that's why you use automation tools where you can batch create content. You can use templates to help you create content if you don't have an assistant, or if you are not in the space where you can hire somebody to do it for you. And I use Later. You can use Later or another social media scheduling tool to schedule your content out for months at a time. When I was working my 9-to-5 teaching and still being mom and wife, that's what I had to do. So even while I was at work, I still had posts being released, and people thought that I was on social media while I was at work. I was like, no, I did all this on Sunday. Y'all are just now seeing it. So you have to work smart, not hard, okay? The sixth thing that you need to do when your book comes out, all right? So either keep momentum or regain momentum after you've lost it. Y'all, you can't disappear off the face of the earth. Authors. You cannot disappear off the face of the earth. If you're going to take a break, you should be using automation tools to, again, allow you to have a presence so that you can take a break. Don't put out the book and then we don't hear from you for another year or two. Yes, life happens, but let me tell you something. Once you step into the role of an entrepreneur, you have to learn how to balance it. Even if your balance is showing up once a week. That doesn't mean disappear. You definitely can't fall off the face of the planet, but you need to have some type of consistency. If you want to build to the point where you are a six-figure author or more, you have to be consistent. You can't disappear for weeks or months at a time, then come out with a $3,000 program and complain when nobody buys it. We don't know you. We have not seen you. Okay, you have a book that you came out with months ago, but you haven't talked about it. Or you posted one time about your book and you're complaining because people aren't giving you the time of day. Why? You haven't been consistent. If you want your money to be, your money is going to be as consistent or inconsistent as you are. If your money is inconsistent, likely it's because you're inconsistent and or your messaging is off. You have to show up, guys. Again, make sure that you go ahead and register for Published and Paid. It's Friday from 3 to 8 p.m. You can go to jasminewomack.com/PP Live. Did I say 5 to 8? It's 3 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay? Go to jasminewomack.com/PP Live. Yes, I taught this back in January. I'm teaching it again now. This likely is going to be my final time teaching it live because I have other plans and some things. All right? So make sure that you take advantage. All right? Especially if you can relate to what I'm sharing, you need to be there. Because you need to step by step on what you need to actually do and how you need to show up so that you can actually grow the business and spread your message the way that you desire. Okay? So I'm just going to do a recap. Number 1, marketing and promotion continues long after your book comes out and is launched. Number 2, you need a growth plan. All right? And if you're just coming in, you want to know what the growth plan is, make sure you check the replay. Number 3, you need a content plan. We'll be talking about the content plans and the growth plans in detail on Friday in Published and Paid. Number 4, you need to keep selling books. Okay? Number 5, you need to film and share your journey. Number 6, do not disappear. Which brings me to number 7, you need a coaching program. You need a coaching program. Something about coaching programs help people stay consistent. You need a coaching program. And yeah, let me tell you something. Y'all got to let the ego go. The ego and the pride. Oh, I already got a book. Oh, I'm already a coach and I created a coaching program, but you hadn't enrolled not one person. Or the one person you did enroll paid $97 and you still struggling and broke. Sis, you need to get it together. We don't sell $97 coaching programs over here. We just don't. That's not what six-figure storytellers do. You can't get to 6 figures by trying to get 100,000 people to sell a $97 to buy a $97 program. That's not what we do. That is not what we do. I'm just telling the truth. We have to let the pride and the ego go, y'all. I can't tell y'all how many people I've met that have been like, oh, I got a book, or I'm finished with my book. I'm trying to figure out the next steps. Or, oh, I'm a coach because I got a coaching program. But at the same time, I'm trying to start this other business. I'm trying to do this. And you ain't made no money and nothing. You have no client results. You don't even halfway believe the stuff you're saying. You just say it because it sounds good and because it makes you seem like you're doing something. When in actuality, you aren't doing anything. There's no forward momentum. We don't see anybody enrolling. We don't see any results. We don't see you promoting your program. And then the program that you do have might be so all over the place, you need to streamline your messaging. Yes, you need a coaching program, but you need clarity on the type of coaching program that you need to create. You need clarity on your messaging, and you need to determine the one thing that your clients are going to accomplish by the end of your program. Not 5 or 10 things, one thing. What's the one clear outcome? What's the one tangible result that you can promise that your program is going to help them obtain? Can you say what that is? And your pricing needs to be in alignment with your income goals. Your pricing needs to be in alignment with the value that you provide. Your pricing needs to be in alignment with the results that you can help them obtain. So if I am able to work with an author, with a professional, and they've been struggling to write their book for 5 years, literally, and I'm able to help them write it in 3 days and build a profitable business from it, please believe my pricing is going to be in alignment with the value that I provide. It's not $97. It's not $1,000. It's going to be comparable to the result that you can get. It's going to be comparable to the time that you're saving by working with me. It's going to be comparable to the money that you're going to make if you show up and execute. Yours should be the same. So yes, you need to have a coaching program, and you need to be able to clearly articulate the result that your clients are able to get by the time they finish working with you. One clear result. And yes, it needs to be premium priced. because your pricing needs to speak to the type of client that you want to attract. Your pricing needs to speak to the value that you provide. Your pricing needs to speak to the results that you provide as well. It also needs to be in alignment with your income goals. Okay? Make sure that you register for Published and Paid, guys. JasmineWomack.com/PP Live. Okay? Last but not least, number 8, the 8th thing that you should do to keep your momentum and or regain it. Was that I said 8? Even if you are embarrassed, yes, even if you are embarrassed by your book, like for my authors, you probably came out with the book years ago. Even if you are embarrassed at your first book, you can still spin the message. Okay, your first book you may not feel like your first book is your best work, but I guarantee you 9 times out of 10 it's because you are overthinking it. You can still sell the book, you can still spread the message. You may want to rewrite it, but when I tell you, you can still create workshops, trainings, and a signature speech from your first book, even if you wrote your book years ago. It's all about your confidence and your message and how you position it. It's all about your ability to articulate how you're able to help someone else. Okay? You have a product. I want you to be proud of it, and I want you to put it out there. Show up for yourself so that you can get the results that you desire. So guys, if you haven't yet, make sure that you go and register for Published and Paid. JasmineWomack.com/PP Live. This is a live 5-hour training that's going to be held on Friday from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. Now, if you're catching the replay, make sure that you go all the way through, take some great notes, okay? Now, Published and Paid is going to be a live 5-hour training, and you get 5 days access to the replay. Okay, the content is so rich. This is not you don't get lifetime access to this, because I don't want this to be just something else that you do and you don't implement it at all, or you forget about it and you don't show up. Okay, yes, you need to show up, and you get 5 days access to the replay. So show up and show up correct, guys. I'm really looking forward to working with y'all. So many of you all have already registered. All right. We still have some spaces remaining. So if you're interested, make sure that you go ahead and reserve your space too. I do have about a couple minutes for some questions. So if you have a question, if you're tuning in on Facebook, if you have a question and you're tuning in on Instagram, go ahead and drop your question. On Facebook, you can put your question in the comment box. On Instagram, you can put your question in the question box. And I'm going to say this. Please don't ask me, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. What are my next steps? I just told you what your next steps are. Your next steps are to sign up for Published and Paid. That's your next steps. If you are serious about actually bringing your book forth and growing your business, then you'll sign up. If you are a bottom feeder just looking for free advice, then you're going to be one of the ones saying, hey, I did all this and that, but what are my next steps? When I just gave you a ton of free information and told you what your next steps are. So you got to believe in what you're doing enough to invest in you. Okay? Because it's not cheap to work with me. It is not. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat that. It's not. It is an investment, and that's because my students get maximum returns. Published and Paid is probably, I don't do trainings that cheap, that low price. So definitely make sure that you take advantage of it while it lasts. Okay. I'm still waiting on some questions to come through. Congrats to Bree on Facebook. You said you're working on book number 2, but still maxing out book number 1. And girl, I see you working. I'm so proud of you. All right. I'm going to go ahead and close out because I don't see any questions coming through. Indiana, number 8 was about people who've already published their book and they're uncomfortable, or they feel like their first book was not their best work, so they're not doing anything with it. And it was to still have confidence in the work that you created and put it out there. All right. All right, guys. I don't see any questions coming through on Instagram. I'm going to go ahead and close out. I'll see you guys soon. Looking forward to seeing you guys on in the workshop on Friday. All right. I'm closed out of Instagram, but does anybody else on Facebook have any questions? All right. I don't see any questions coming through on Facebook, so I'm going to go ahead and close out. I'll see you guys soon. Hope to see you in the workshop.